Berlin, this is just not the story of Gregor, but what it reflects. How the German military has reshaped since the Cold War and its struggle to amp up the motivation in people to serve the country. In 2005, the 39-year-old Gregor, dressed in a crisp sky blue Bundeswehr shirt and navy trousers, marched alongside 17 others into the square of Germany's Ministry of Defense. Just days earlier, he had been an office manager with little interest in military life. Now he was taking the oath of the German armed forces, pledging to courageously defend the right and liberty of the German people. For Gregor, everything changed on February 24, 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine. Watching civilians take up arms against Russian tanks, he thought, if something like that happened here, I wouldn't have any practical skills to help. What began as curiosity became a personal mission. July 20, 2024 marked the 80th anniversary of Operation Valkyrie, when German soldiers attempted to assassinate Hitler. Usually, Bundeswehr oath ceremonies are low-key, but this day gathered 400 recruits in Berlin, a nod to history and the weight of defending democracy in today's Europe. For decades, Germany had minimized its army. The Bundeswehr was created during the Cold War, primarily to support NATO. Spending fell from 4.9% of GDP in 1963 to just 1.1% in 2005. But after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced a €100 billion plan to modernize the army. By early 2025, under Chancellor Friedrich Merz, Germany approved a €1 trillion loan, nearly a quarter of GDP, to rapidly build military capabilities. Lorenzo Scarazzato from Cypre explains that such defense spending is unprecedented in peacetime. Countries that spend this much are usually at war or under autocratic regimes. Even NATO members, pushed by Donald Trump, agreed to raise defense spending to 5% of GDP. After World War II, Germany's population was re-educated to embrace peace and non-militarism. The Bundeswehr was a citizen army, designed to integrate into democracy. General Carsten Breuer describes the population as peace-minded and non-military. Now, decades later, the government faces the challenge of convincing citizens to join and serve in a significantly expanded army. The Bundeswehr shrank from 500,000 soldiers in the early 1990s to 180,000 today. General Breuer estimates that personnel needs must rise to 460,000, including full-time staff and reservists. Applications are up 20%, but physical and security requirements mean many won't pass. Conscription may return if voluntary recruitment falls short. Many Germans are warming to the military after years of distance. However, the Bundeswehr has faced far-right scandals, including members stockpiling weapons and Nazi memorabilia. Neo-Nazi groups continue to use military history for propaganda, creating tension in public support for rearmament. Gregor's training at Heuberg in Baden-Württemberg is intensive. Recruits carry 33-pound backpacks, fire rifles, practice in gas masks, and simulate defending a barracks from a Russian attack. The program spans 17 days across long summer weekends, preparing recruits for defense rather than frontline combat abroad. Recruits vary in age and occupation: foresters, teachers, engineers, even former journalists, with most motivated by the Ukraine war. Only 3 women participate. Many have reconsidered military service in light of Europe's changing security environment. The training is grueling. Recruits struggle with physical endurance, navigating with radios, and handling firearms responsibly. Some drop out. Emotional challenges, like reconciling the act of firing a weapon with personal beliefs, are also significant. The Bundeswehr was founded in 1955, following the Cold War's rearmament push. Former Wehrmacht soldiers deemed honourable were allowed to join. This led to debates about the myth of the clean Wehrmacht and how Nazi-era soldiers influenced post-war military culture. Concepts like innere Führung ensured soldiers think independently, a break from blind obedience in the Wehrmacht. In 2025, Germany held its first official Veterans Day. Attendance was modest, mainly military families. The Bundeswehr seeks to foster a veterans culture similar to the US, but public enthusiasm remains limited. Far-right movements continue to exploit military symbols for their narratives. Activists like Kai Krieger argue Germany should not have a military, citing historical weight and the potential for far-right influence. Anti-military movements are weak today, with many peace activists aligning with Russia or opposing NATO. Burak, 38, of Turkish heritage, hesitated for 2 years before joining. Michael, 50, a former punk scene participant, sees the invasion of Ukraine as a fascist threat. Both want the army to reflect society's diversity and maintain democratic values. A year later, Gregor dedicates around 50 days annually to military service. He practices protecting Berlin's infrastructure, logistics, and troop movement. His tech startup is supportive, recognizing that national defense outweighs short-term business disruption. Gregor acknowledges the Bundeswehr leans conservative and hopes for more left-leaning participation. He supports meaningful conscription to educate citizens about military service without coercion or wasted effort. Gregor struggles with the term patriotism, associating it with nationalism. Yet he wants to defend Germany's free education, healthcare, and democratic society, believing these are worth protecting for future generations. General Breuer emphasises the need to equip the army with modern tanks, drones, air defence and trained personnel. Procurement inefficiencies and reliance on US equipment may create future dependencies. EPRI warns against an overemphasis on military solutions at the expense of diplomacy. Germany's Bundeswehr is rebuilding after decades of disarmament and societal caution. The story of Gregor illustrates the personal and national journey, from ambivalence to commitment, from a history of restraint to a new era of defence. The challenge remains how to strengthen security without repeating historical mistakes while maintaining democracy and societal balance.